Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Dead Space 3 Impossible Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 17, A Strange City. So this is one of the more interesting and different environments that you're going to enter in a Dead Space game. Unfortunately, after the initial first few rooms, the level design in this area turns into just some of the most simplistic and arbitrary features I've seen in gaming, and I don't know why, because they had so many interesting premises happening. You're going to find these plates which allow you to pick up really large blocks, which could have led you to some really interesting puzzles with assorting blocks so you could make a path up something. And I was thinking about this the other night, how this would work and how it'd be cool, and then I realised Isaac doesn't know how to mantle, because all he's ever done his entire life is catch elevators and climb ladders. So you'd be stuck forever and be unable to finish the game if that was a mechanic, because he can't climb over a chest-high wall. But this is the bench. This is me going to be making sure that I'm up to date on my upgrades. There's nothing too impressive here. I'm hoping you've got a lot better components than I do. But I'm able to make do with what I have, and if I can do it, that means you can do it, so it should give you hope if you're struggling. And a lot of the fights in the latter half of this video and the next are going to be completely skipped, because this place just, it takes the piss. It really does. It takes the subtlety and the interesting and fun balance of the game and just thinks, let's add 20 more dudes. You know, this is the end of the game, fuck it, 50 more guys. Enjoy. And I just don't think that's a good way of adding length to your game. I just really don't. But a lot of comments on this walkthrough about the music, saying that the music's changed to be a much more action-packed soundtrack to the previous one, which was very eerie. And it's been a long time since I played the other Dead Spaces, and I can't really tell the difference, which I know is going to probably be a slap in the face to some of you more conscious music folks, because I am a massive appreciator of music when it comes to game soundtracks. I just am. Same with lots of things, series soundtracks, movie soundtracks. You know, I can listen to a soundtrack and it can make, you know, the hairs on my back tingle and stuff, because it reminds me of how much I love that game. And it also, if it's a really well put together piece of music, it's just amazing. And it's one of those things where you can generate memories just based off a piece of music, and it's why I believe that music itself is one of the most transcendental things we have in life, and that's why it'll always probably be just the most powerful expression we have, because it's got to have something to do with how, you know, down on an atomic level we're all resonating, we're all vibrating. So when it comes to, you know, listening to a vibration, it does something to us. It's like it has sex with our cells. It's just sexy. I don't know. It's cool though. And speaking of music, I've been rewatching through Dragon Ball Z, which I've mentioned, and if you're not into anime or you're not into... I mean, Dragon Ball Z is a pretty old one at this point, and it's a pretty well-known one because there's a lot of memes and there's a lot of things like that, but I used to be a massive Dragon Ball Z fan. I watched it when it originally aired on Funimation in England, back when I was going through secondary school, and I was really obsessed with it. And I've watched it through a couple of times in my life, but it's been a couple of years since I last did it, so I decided to, you know, sit down and watch the 291 episodes worth of one of my favourite shows of all time. And it really makes me appreciate the Bruce Falconer soundtrack, because the first few seasons, from the Saiyan saga at the beginning all the way up until the Ginyu Force turn up, is all done by a different soundtrack. And the music is fucking terrible. And as much as I do enjoy those seasons, the lack of Bruce's music really hurts the viewing pleasure of those episodes for me. Because the music's what makes it. The music has... It's almost like, you know, watching Alien on mute, or Aliens on mute or something, you know. A film that exists on its soundtrack alone and its ability to use sound, as soon as you take it away, really damages the final outcome. And Dragon Ball Z is no different. As soon as, you know, Falconer gets on the job and starts laying down those awesome just pieces of music that are now legendary because the season's been out for so long, it's just so much better. And the movies that they've done are the same. They've all got the same shitty Japanese soundtrack, and I fucking hate it. I really do. It's got the English voices, which I prefer, but the soundtrack is just appalling, and it really takes away my enjoyment of them. And when they mentioned that they were going to be doing the remastering, the uncut, and, you know, the high definition and all that good stuff, I had a lot of hope that those movies would have the American soundtracks. or the Western soundtracks, sorry. But it doesn't seem like they do. A couple of them do, have been updated, but not all of them. And I mean, there's 13 movies when you don't count the special ones with Trunks and Bardock and everything. And apparently there's been a 14th that's been mentioned, which is the first movie to turn up in quite some time, if you don't count the OVA that came out. But music is so detrimental to the enjoyment of anything, and it just goes to show, you know, when they remove it, your enjoyment of something can decrease just massively. And it's the same with the series that followed Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Ball GT series, which when I watched when I was younger, I fucking hated it. Absolutely despised it. And I didn't really know too much about the series at the time, and it turns out that, you know, the creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z really didn't have that much to do with it. It wasn't based off any of his mangas because the story had ended at that point. It was just done by Toei on their own, and there is some merits to that series. I do think some of the storylines are pretty cool, but I just think they completely missed the point and completely missed the mark. Like the Super Saiyan level 4 level, design-wise, I think it's an amazing idea. I think it looks cool as hell. It's one of the most coolest looking characters in the show, but it just doesn't feel like Dragon Ball Z, man. It just feels so different, and that's another show that I really struggle to enjoy because of the music. Because the music is just so fucking bad. And it's really strange how that affects you. And I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. Do you have any shows or any games or any films that you've seen in a specific way, and then when you've seen them again it's changed or it's been altered? Like a great one for me, bringing it back to Dragon Ball Z just for the moment, as we kill this Rosetta as it spits these stupid babies at us. I originally on Cartoon Network saw a different dub to the Funimation dub. It was done by, I believe it's called, a group called Ocean, and it aired in England and it aired in Canada, and it was a completely different set of voice actors, and for some of them they were pretty shitty, but for others they were really good. And a lot of my favourite lines from that series that I used to quote all the time at school and just being silly, they were all the Ocean dub. A lot of Vegeta lines, a lot of, you know, supporting character lines, they were just delivered so much better on the Ocean dub. And now that I'm watching it back on the remastered uncut version, some of these lines that are ingrained in my memory, when they come up and they happen, they're so underwhelmingly different. It's just nowhere near as good as the ones that I originally watched. And that kind of sucks. It kind of a bit disappointing. Like, they've changed some of the music areas on some of the transformations, and I don't think they're anywhere near as good as the original dub in the censored version, which doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, you know, there's new dialogue, there's all the pervy moments left in, there's the blood left in, there's the direct impacts left in, and all that stuff is great, but there's definitely some pieces that are missing from the original versions that I watched, even though they were heavily amended. And I'm sure people will see correlations with Bleach and stuff like that, because a lot of the long-running shows, there's a lot of stuff taken out from the Japanese versions, just because, you know, the Western market, we've got this preoccupation that cartoons are meant for children, because, you know, our society and our culture is just fucking stupid. But that's enough of that discussion, because I do appreciate that not everybody's a fan of anime, and I don't want to drown out this entire video talking about something that you potentially don't really enjoy. In fact, I had to defend liking anime at university, and it's been a long time since I've really nerded out watching all the different series and stuff, and I hadn't really watched a new one for quite some time, but I defended it nonetheless because somebody basically said there was absolutely no merit in it, and they're all the same, they're all crap, and I just hate people that try to say something that you like is shit just for the sake of saying it, just because they perhaps don't like it or they're not interested in it. And don't get me wrong, if you're doing it for a joke or you've got a legitimately good reason, that's perfectly fine. But you know, when people just kind of do it so that they can try and make fun of you and laugh at you and get people to side with them, I don't like that type of stuff. So I basically, you know, I'm a pretty confrontational guy when it comes to discussions, and if you want to argue, you better bring your fucking good trousers in, or you're gonna get wrecked. And that person got wrecked, so not physically, there was no violence. It's just I can wax poetic with the best of them, and you can't bullshit a bullshitter is an expression we use in my neck of the woods. But this sequence here, we're using these crazy pads to simulate zero gravity, and those holes on the walls are pretty much vents. They look a little bit like prolapsed anuses, because I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to game design, you know, the most recent games, every game has to have an asshole door. A door that opens like an asshole does. And this is the closest that Dead Space has come to having the sphincter doors. And I'm kind of glad that they don't, because there's no need for the asshole doors. And one of the most redeeming factors of Duke Nukem Forever is the fact that he tickles one of the doors. Because they look like assholes. And Halo's guilty of this, Gears is guilty of this, a lot of games are guilty of it. Just be careful on this section as well, because the black lurkers do some serious damage with that tentacle shit they fire at you. And you'll notice I'm using the acid coating. Not entirely sure if it's worthwhile, because I don't really see a point to it, and when I looked at my achievement progress towards the acid kills, I only had 2, and I killed more than 2 necromorphs with my acid gun. But here's another fantastic innovation in games design. Copy the 3 patterns off the wall in front of you so that you can open one of the standard loady doors that looks a little bit more Aztec than they did in the spaceships. And I do apologise if I sound very negative with the level design on this area, but I expected better from this developer. And this bit here, this bit really made me optimistic that we were going to do some really cool stuff with these pads. Because look at these blocks, massive blocks that we shouldn't be able to move. I was hoping for some really innovative and interesting puzzles, and what do we get? Move the fucking balls to bend the Beetlejuice statues. Goodness me. It doesn't make any sense. When you come over here and you go past the bench, there's going to be a bunch of the exploding baby things that are going to spawn off that wall. I had a really interesting run on this where I shot every single one of them as they were crawling down the wall, but I didn't end up choosing that one, mainly because this one was easier to edit seamlessly together. Because I don't know if you know, but when I was recording this originally, I'd not beat the game, so I had to stop at this point, because this is where me and Aiden were. And when I reloaded my save, I had to do the entrance again, because the autosave on this game is about as useful as a fucking glass hammer. It's just stupid. And you'll notice this is when I've beat the game, because I now have the engineering suit. And it said on the screen just then, legendary set unlocked, but a set denounces, in my eyes, more than one. And the only thing that's different is this, because this is the suit you wore in the first game. And that's why I'm putting it on, because I loved the suit on the first game. And I loved the way that when you upgraded it, it got more straps on it and more pieces of armour. And on this game, when you upgrade your armour, you don't get anything. It doesn't change at all. It's not dynamic, and I don't understand that. But then again, I don't really understand this armour. Aesthetically, it looks amazing, but functionally, how the hell does this help an engineer? All this means is if he falls down, he's probably going to crack a rib. Because I don't know about y'all, but if you've ever fell on your keys, Jesus Christ, it's painful. Just imagine falling on those things, whatever the hell they are. But here's the bench, anyhow. This is a fantastic opportunity of tweaking your weapons, getting some ammo, because there is a lot of killing about to happen. And I mean a lot of killing. But there is some mild puzzle solving and some terrible level design, so don't worry about it too much. Wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be Dead Space if we didn't shoot some dudes. But I'm very curious where the future of this game is going, this series, because I read something on a site today that mentioned Dead Space needs, I think, 5 million fans for it to continue. How fucking greedy are EA? Like, they're trying to kill all their IPs. You can't just make Call of Duty and Madden, man. That's not fucking cool. And they've already announced that there's going to be another Call of Duty, and I don't mean Modern Warfare 20 or whatever we're on now. There's literally going to be a different one. Like, what can they cover? Pirates? I don't know. Like, where can they go? What's different? Are we going to be in feudal Japan with flintlocks and swords? I just don't get it. Are we going to be firing bamboo at each other? Maybe we're in a rainforest in a penis sheath with a blow dart. Like, where can you go? And the worst part about it is, people are going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I'm complaining now, and I'm going to buy it. And I don't know why. I love the controls. That's the thing. Mechanically, Call of Duty is amazing. Creatively, it's trash. And Black Ops 2 tried really, really hard to do some different things, and as much of the different things it did, it's still the same game. There needs to be a change. You can't just keep on polishing things and sending them back our way. It's not cool, man. It's not how it works. But this is one of those moments where you ask yourself, did you enjoy the flying sections? And you'll probably say no. Well, good, because you're going to have to do a couple more of them that do nothing but pad out the traversal of this lovely city.
I just opened a conduit to the heart of the city. If there's a control center for the Codex, that's where it'll be.
And it's disappointing, because, like I say, I believe Visceral are better than this. And I can hear a bunch of things behind me. So this is the beginning of me skipping encounters, because there's just really no need to fight any of these things. In fact, pretty much every fight in this next area can be probably skipped, apart from some of the human ones. I would say don't, mainly because you have to come through some of these rooms, and when you skip the fights, you have to skip them again, and it's pretty intimidating. There's one encounter particularly where I have to go back through a stalker room, and it's not fun. It's not fun in the underpants department, because it's very tense. But if you're looking for tension, then I'd recommend it, actually. Not that you're going to get anything that's as scary as the puzzle solving required for these stupid whale doors. This should come on a CD, this. Space whales. Several thousand soothing hymns from the belly of the beasts themselves. Just pathetic. But this is, I think, a feeder room. This is a feeder room. And I don't like feeder, so hopefully they don't sing. They just try and eat us. But if you come over here, this is probably the best place you can stand, because you can funnel them towards yourself. I don't think they can spawn behind you. But once again, the black ones take a pounding. Must be just good genes. And this one, I mean, look at them. They're just... Ugh, such a... They're one of those enemies that are very fun to fight, probably on easy or normal. But on the harder difficulties, they just become a nuisance, because look at them. You can't stop them. They've barely got any meat on them, but they're still taking the plasma cutter like champions. But the Seeker, it does feel a waste to use the Seeker on these enemies, but God, is it a good weapon. I love the Seeker. I really do. And I just heard another one of the feeders, so this is not over yet. But it does look like we're going to make it. Here he comes. Oh, there's a few of them too. A whole gang of them. I don't know, maybe I'm carrying a Mars bar and they're really hungry. Gotta be some reason that there's these many buggers trying to eat me. They've got really bad dental work as well, because when they get on you, they show you that they've got ridiculous dentures that pop out of the face. But just keep on shooting. Try not to notice that you're shooting a million enemies in each room, because it just gets a bit depressing then when you realise that instead of thinking of, you know, a highly strategic and highly challenging way to introduce enemies during a fight, they've just got 1,000 of the little shits that charge you and try and jump on your back. It really is the Dynasty Warriors school of thought. I'm curious as well, because that pad in the middle, when you stand on it, it allows you to use kinesis to rip the limbs off of necromorphs. It makes me wonder, can you rip the limbs off of the scrubbers, those guys we just killed? But there's little bits of ammo in this room. There's a couple of artifacts in cheeky corners as well if you're going for the collectibles, which I do recommend, because the circuits they unlock are godlike. This is one where we're going to get to pull limbs off of necros. There he is. It's time to start trimming his nails. Like, you don't even have to fire them. I think you can just pull all the limbs off and they'll die, but I've never done it actually. I've just, you know, keep stealing the spikes. And as per normal, I'm really paranoid of my back, just because the way this game has presented itself. It's like the raptors in Jurassic Park. One of them sat in front of you stroking its clit, the other one at the side of you ready to pounce. But the music subsided, and I think we're clear. Clear to move on into the belly of the beast, which is the second time I've used that expression. We've got another whale door, so I suppose it's apt. But as always folks, thank you for watching. I hope the guide is helping, and you take care now.